Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Our mission here is, well, it's always the same. We take your stack of sources, no matter how chaotic or strange.
And this week is definitely strange.
Oh, it is. And we extract those concentrated nuggets of knowledge for you. It's the shortcut to being truly well-informed.
Yeah,
And today we have maybe the most bizarre challenge we've ever faced.
I think so.
The source material you sent in was an excerpt from a video transcript, and the headline was just pure clickbait.
Maximum clickbait, I would say.
Right. Fast and Furious 11 BTS.
Mm-hmm.
Cristiano Ronaldo caught on set with full cast. So you click on that and you're expecting, what, movie gossip?
Exactly. Or, some kind of big contractual drama, something juicy.
But the text itself, the actual content inside the transcript, is something else entirely. It's this deeply cryptic, almost lyrical passage.
Yeah, completely disconnected.
It has nothing to do with movies or football stars. It
Yeah.
feels less like Hollywood and, I don't know, more like a minimalist poem about corporate failure.
And that contrast, that dissonance between the packaging and what's inside is precisely why this is such a fascinating deep dive for us.
Okay, so what's our goal here?
Our goal today is not to solve the mystery of how this text ended up there. We can probably assume it was, stray lyrics from some background music or just an accident.
Poetic accident? I like that.
Thus, instead, we're going to treat this very short passage as a self-contained document, a high-value piece of information. We're going to do an exercise in, let's call it information triage,
Okay.
focusing just on what these unexpected lines reveal about process, about timing, conflict, and the ruthless nature of success and failure.
So it's a study in structural analysis. Can we pull a whole coherent message from just a handful of very strange lines?
That's the mission.
All right, to start, let's get the source material on the table. For everyone following along, this is the entire passage we are analyzing today. It's short. At the starting of the week, until it talks, you'll hear them speak. It's only Monday negotiations breaking down. See those leaders start to frown? It's short, and one day tomorrow never comes until it's too late, I win.
And that's it.
That's it. Okay, so let's unpack this. It sets a very specific mood, right? It gives us a timeline, a conflict, and then this cold, clear outcome. All in, what, fewer than 40 words?
It's an incredibly compressed, dramatic narrative.
It really is.
And the drama kicks off immediately with this very rigid structure. It doesn't ease you in. It drops you right into the ticking clock of some kind of institutional life.
Okay, let's start there then, with the time and place. The first clause. At the starting of the week, until it talks, you'll hear them speak. It's only Monday.
Right.
Why is that specific phrase, only Monday, so crucial here? And what is going on with until it talks in a place where people are already speaking?
Well, this immediately sets up a framework for institutional dialogue. Monday isn't just another day. In these high-stakes environments, corporate, government, a film studio, Monday is the day.
The day for what?
It's the day for the critical review, the status update, the big resource meeting. It is the designated time for verbal communication. It says you will hear them speak. It's mandatory.
I see.
And that phrase, only Monday, has, I think, a dual meaning. On one hand, it suggests the window for just talking is really brief. It's just Monday.
And that's it.
And that's it. But it also implies a certain tentativeness, like the real gravity of the week hasn't landed yet. The discussions are provisional.
Okay, I get the provisional nature, but I'm really drawn to that boundary it sets
Yeah.
until it talks. If we're hearing people speak, with human input, emotion, debate, what is the it that comes in and just silences everyone?
That is the core interpretive challenge, and it's fascinating. The it is almost certainly some non-human force that just dictates the final word.
Like,
It could be anything. The compliance report that just landed, the stock market closing for the day, maybe a critical deadline in a contract just expired, or just the hard numbers crunched by the legal team. So the dialogue phase, the human part, them speaking, that's only allowed to happen until this definitive external force renders its verdict. The moment it talks, all the human voices, they just become irrelevant.
so the conversation starts being about opinions.
Exactly. It starts being about irreversible facts.
So the power structure is immediately clear. Monday is for human input, but that's a limited time offer because the final outcome, the it, is going to take total control of the conversation.
Precisely. The Monday morning meeting is just the warm-up act for the hard reality that's coming. The early week effort doesn't define the outcome. It sets the stage, sure, but the real power is held by whatever mechanism, policy, economics, sheer consequence delivers that final word.
And if Monday is the stage for these tentative talks, the text, it doesn't wait around. It jumps straight into how that process
That
fades.
doesn't let the tension linger at all.
Let's move right into that second section. It's a seamless transition to failure. Negotiations breaking down, see those leaders start to frown.
A devastating 1-2 punch right there.
Yay.
The abstract process we were just talking about, the Monday talk, is immediately shown to be a total failure. The negotiations, the engine of progress, they've just stalled out.
What I find so compelling here is the detail, the observation. We go from abstract dynamics to this very concrete human consequence. The failure leads directly to a visible reaction in the authority figures.
See those leaders start to frown.
Yeah, the fact that the observer points out the frown is so telling. It brings this high-level conflict right down into the physical world instantly.
And that visibility is crucial. The narrator is watching from a position where they can see the emotional fallout, and they're pointing to exactly who is paying that price: the leaders.
So why the frown?
Well, a frown isn't just about anger. It's often a sign of, a severe loss or deep frustration over a lack of control. These are the stakeholders. Their reputation, their money, their whole objective is tied to this agreement. So they wear the failure openly.
But wait, if they're such powerful, expert leaders, shouldn't they be better at hiding that? Doesn't a visible frown suggest a lack of professional control? Or maybe it's a performance.
That's a fascinating layer. You're right. In these kinds of environments, a frown can absolutely be a political tool.
Oh, so?
If the negotiation falls apart because of something external, a new regulation, a competitor's move, the leader's public display of frustration can send a message to their teams or their shareholders. It says, "We were invested, we fought hard, and this failure is costly."
So it justifies whatever they do next, or don't do.
Exactly. So the frown is the immediate public acknowledgement that a bill has come due, a financial or strategic one. It's the cost of the breakdown made visible.
So we've got the setup on Monday, and then the immediate visible failure that follows it. But then the text pivots completely. It moves away from the event itself and into something much deeper.
It becomes philosophical.
It really does. And this is where, for me, the text gets truly profound. The reflection on time. It's short, and one day tomorrow never comes until it's too late.
This line elevates the whole thing. It stops being just a report on a corporate problem and becomes this universal observation on paralysis and putting things off.
Procrastination.
The language captures that classic tension we all feel under pressure. Time is urgent right now, but the actual action is always deferred.
There are two competing forces in that line, aren't there?
Absolutely. First, you have the acknowledgement of how brief time is. It's short and one day.
Yeah.
That's the internal clock ticking, that recognition that the window is closing fast.
And then you have the paradox of doing nothing. Tomorrow never comes. That line just perfectly captures organizational paralysis. After the negotiations break down, the leaders are frowning, and the response isn't to mobilize, it's to freeze.
They're stuck.
They are stuck. They can't move past the failure, and so instead of taking decisive action, they're just waiting for a better day, a tomorrow, that by its own definition never arrives.
It's the psychological trap of perfectionism mixed with a kind of fatalism. They know they have to act, but they're waiting for the ideal conditions to show up or for someone else to fix it.
But a perfect, consequence-free tomorrow is an illusion.
It is. So the moment for action just gets pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and the consequence of that delay is devastating. The text says it lasts until it's too late.
The phrase has such finality.
It does. It suggests a critical point of no return. The window for any meaningful action has slammed shut. And not because of some outside attack, but because of their own inaction.
So the culture is ultimately defeated by its own inability to solve a problem. All the effort on Monday, all the anxiety making the leaders frown, it all becomes irrelevant because the time for action passed while they were waiting for a tomorrow that doesn't exist.
That is the entire weight of this passage. The primary cause of the failure isn't even the negotiation breaking down. It's the paralysis that came after. The urgency was understood, but it was never acted upon.
Which brings us to the end, the final, stark three-word declaration. The whole story of effort, failure, and delay just collapses into this assertive conclusion. I win.
Chilling, isn't it?
It is. So after this whole drama, who or what is the I that comes out victorious from all this chaos?
The I is the ultimate winner, and it's defined entirely by the failures of everyone else. If the leaders failed to act and lost because time ran out, then the I is whoever benefited from that inertia.
We could probably interpret that I in a few ways.
I think so. The first and most straightforward is that the I is the rival negotiator, the external competitor who just sat back and waited patiently for the other organization to defeat itself.
The ultimate opportunist. Their win wasn't based on being better in the negotiation.
No, not at all. It was based on recognizing that their opponents were just incapable of seeing it through.
Okay, what's the second interpretation?
The second is that the I isn't a person but a force. It could be the market. It could be the system itself. The law of unintended consequences.
So the market wins when companies fail to adapt. The system wins when the players can't agree.
It's a victory by default. That's a more chilling structural conclusion. The organization tried, failed, stalled. The system just waited until the inevitable consequence, the too late, was reached, and the system claimed the prize.
And is there a third?
I think the third, and maybe the most profound, is that the I is time itself, personified. Time is the entity that was short in one day, and time is the winner because it let the leaders believe in a tomorrow that never comes.
Because time never stops.
It never stops running. And when the clock hits too late, it asserts its final authority. I win, says time, as the deadline passes.
So regardless of who the I is, the rival, the system, or time, the common thread is that the victory is stark, definitive, and just. Ruthless.
Absolutely. The losers were the ones who deferred action and delayed too long. That's what allowed the I to claim the prize after the window had closed. It is the cynical moral of the story. In high-stakes environments, paralysis is an active choice that hands victory to someone or something else.
In the breakdown, the paralysis, those were just the conditions needed for the I to succeed.
If we connect this back to you, the learner, the key lesson here really transcends the absurdity of where this text came from. We were given confusing short data, but by applying rigorous analysis, we've revealed a very clear thematic architecture.
Yeah, we've basically established 4 pillars that govern these kinds of high-stakes environments.
Right.
First, there's the structure of effort. That's tied to the urgency of only Monday and the hard stop of until it talks.
Right.
The limits of human input.
Second, the reality of consequence. We saw that visualized through the high-stakes cost implied by the leaders start to frown.
Third, the philosophical trap of paralysis. That tragic paradox that tomorrow never comes until it's too late.
And finally, the assertion of ultimate success, that simple I win, which represents the unseen force that profits from the failures and delays of others.
So whether you're getting ready for a big presentation or analyzing a complex business deal or just trying to make sense of a stack of confusing reports, remember this deep dive. Even in the most nonsensical packaging.
Like corporate poetry in a movie transcript.
Exactly. The words themselves contain a logic and a profound operational message if you just analyze them closely.
And as a final provocative thought for you to consider, if the win only comes when it is too late for the initial stakeholders, those frowning leaders, what are the fundamental risks of extending high-stakes negotiations unnecessarily? And who is the truly unseen entity that always benefits most from your delay, even when you think you're just buying yourself more time? Consider the hidden winners in situations where your internal clock finally runs out.